and gentlemen, welcome to one of the final streams of the year, Overwatch Collegiate. My name is Amanda, joining me as always, and back with his face on the screen. Xander, how are you doing today? And are you happy to be back?
I am. It's nice to be here again, not being replaced by my figurehead, Colonel Sanders, on his lovely horse. As yeah, back for some more Overwatch. Actually, back today, as definitely gonna have some fun matches queued up. Lindenwood Gold Team here in the ABC tournament has to go 2-0 today for even a chance at making playoffs. Going to be starting off that run against the University of California today. Almost said Carolina because we were talking about it a bit ago. But going against the USC Trojans today, definitely going to be a good opening match.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to kind of throw it back a little bit to Lindenwood's other team in the last stream we saw and in the pre-show today, we were recapped on their victory in the division grand finals. Quite a game for them, quite a way to end the season for them. Moving it along though to this team today, like you said, 2 and 0 has to come out from them today to even be given the shot. They have to rely on some other teams ahead of them to lose their games today as well. It's hard to rely on so many factors like that. So, going to be a tough road ahead of them if they can even make it there, but today should be a good day nonetheless.
And yeah, speaking of these teams, definitely some very strong seasons coming out from both of them. As in the past, has had a little bit of struggle, but getting some very solid results this season. As both the gold team and the black teams putting up some significantly better results than we've seen in the past. Especially, of course, again, congratulations to our Lindenwood Black team for the E6 Conference Championships. 8-1 in the regular season, went basically undefeated in playoffs. Some very strong maps against both the side of Kettering and Nichols College in the playoffs, taking both of those series 3-0 fashion. Nichols College, I suppose, 3-0-1 fashion, but still didn't drop or lose a map throughout the entirety of playoffs. As definitely solid performances for the gold or the black team, apologies, on their E6 conference championships and looking to keep their season alive with two back-to-back wins in their series today, alongside a little bit of luck from the other sides of the tournament, is our gold team.
Yep, and moving into talking about the gold team, we switch up our map pool once again from NACE back to the collegiate tournament. Uh, Looking at off on Nepal today for this first map. Xander, I don't know if you were here for the last Nepal game that we watched. You might have been, but there was a Nepal game where our LU team ran Symmetra with Reinhardt before this Reinhardt change that came
I
through.
do not remember seeing a Reinhardt in the past 4 years, so I suppose I wasn't.
We were shocked on the broadcast, and they pulled it off like no other. I hope we get to see it again today, especially since Reinhardt is maybe creeping his way back up a little bit. He has a little bit better of an ultimate now. Maybe we'll see it again. I would love to see it again. That is my hope for Nepal for this first for this first match today. Then moving into hybrid, there's no King's Row to pick from, and we've seen a variety of other maps and other weeks. What's the best option today for the Lions? If it's their pick, what are we picking? What are we looking at?
I think I'm looking at Icon. I definitely think, again, there's always going to be an argument for Icon, Midtown, and Hollywood. I wouldn't be surprised to see the Lions picking up any of those three. But if Nepal doesn't go their way, looking at the most recent matches, I feel like Icon is the way to go. I feel like the comps that Lindenwood likes to run are feeling back toward that Icon meta. I would be I would expect them to want to pick Midtown as it's one of the maps that we've seen them going back and forth to. We know that they have a very solid on a brig on that map, but I think looking at where they're winning a lot and where whether a lot of other teams seem to be faltering, I feel like Icon is the way to go.
Agreed. We saw a very strong showing on Icon last time we watched this team. If I remember correctly, the last game was the headshot trading at the beginning, and then they both pushed it all the way, and then Lindenwood just barely comes up ahead after the first point on and their overtime. Quite an Eichenwald. Would love to see a replication of something like that. Maybe not all the anticipation of if that Widow's gonna hit a headshot at the beginning, but something like that would be fun. Otherwise, I wouldn't mind seeing that defensive dive from Lindenwood on Midtown again. I know They love their dive, and the coach loves coaching their dive, so would love to see that again as well. And then, if we hit escort, what are we looking at? What are we looking at today for escort?
I think Escort has a very solid set of options. I know a lot of these teams seem to default towards Shambali, so I wouldn't be surprised if that's where we end up going. It seems to be a bit of a comfort pick for a lot of these teams. I don't expect to see Route 66. We don't see it in the Nace map pool almost ever get picked when we make it to Escort. I feel like we're very unlikely to see things change it up. As for Junkertown, I mean, I'm starting to believe that it's not a real map. I know Parisia we know isn't a real map, but Junkertown is starting to get to that land of fiction. And then the world of Rialto, I feel like I just haven't seen this map played like at all, really. There's the little bridge at the start, and then after that, my memory goes blank because I just haven't seen this map in any capacity in ages.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen this team play this map in quite some time, or that map rather, in quite some time. I couldn't even tell you what they would play on it. I don't really know. Maybe some dive, but maybe we don't even have to see it. They'll 2-0 right off the bat, no esc. But I could see them going for Shambali. That's probably what it's gonna be. That's what we see when we see escort. So Shambali is probably gonna be it. But at least there's no Circuit Royale. We always have to mention that.
Circuit Royale is not fun, so we don't want it. There we go.
That's it. End of sentence. Period. We are moving on
Amen.
to Flashpoint. Flash
I'll take Flashpoint before I take Circuit Royale.
I don't know if I would can say the same, but we have moving into Flashpoint. This only happens if there's a tie on
We're
the
not going to
on
see
hybrid
Flashpoint.
map.
Nobody. Surely, if you had a really good opportunity to win a game out and you got to like overtime in hybrid, you just take the map. We're not going to see a
Yeah.
tie. It's not realistic.
Yeah, surely you don't throw it away on an accidental. That would
No,
that would
no,
never ever happen, and it never
Uh,
has.
never has. No, it's
Yeah,
actually
pink
there's actually never been a tie game of Overwatch in Lindenwood
not
competitive play.
not one single time.
Kings Row's not on the map pool. Can't count it.
That's true. That's true.
There we
That is
go.
a different
There's
tournament. We
there's
don't
the
even have to
rationale.
consider it.
What are you excited for today? I know you mentioned the Reinhardt Symmetra comp on Nepal. Is there anything else that you want to see or could be cool to see today?
In the event, this is possibly the last couple of games we're going to get to see this team play in this spring 24 season. I'm just looking forward to seeing everything they've done this year come together, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do. I hope we see this team play their absolute best today. Sometimes they play their best and then maybe the next map it just falls short a little bit. I'd love to just see it all come together in these final moments today.
I can definitely agree with a bit of that. I feel like there are a lot of things that we have seen from these teams over time. We've seen, I mean, both gold and our black teams, of course, namely the gold team here for this match. I feel like I can agree that there have been a lot of things that we have seen over the course of time, and I would love to see some callbacks, and I would love to see some potentially defensive dive, any of these fun things that we've seen this team run and win with. But it'd definitely be nice to see at least something more than the same five characters, and they get locked into this like Tracer, Sojourn, Orisa, Lucio, Kiriko composition that they just run offense and defense both maps every map.
That has switched a little bit. I mean, we're typically seeing Moira in the past. Moira has been kind of flicked off. She's not a problem anymore. Now it's Kiriko, but Kiriko is always a problem. So you stick with the Kiriko. The DPS change often too. I mean, we had points of time where we saw May, and we don't. Sometimes we still do. We saw May in the division grand finals on Tuesday, just a little bit, but most of the time it's probably going to be Sojourn, going to be Tracer, going to be Reaper from time to time. This team we're starting on Nepal. I hope we see that Sojourn or not Sojourn. Well, Sojourn eventually, but the Symmetra and the Reinhardt on Village. Oh, I hope we see it. That would be so good. But, they could change it up. I mean, I hope we like you said, I hope we don't see the same thing the entire time. I hope just no Orisa. Really, that's it. Just switch it up. Switch to Monkey. That's fine. I don't wanna fall asleep while talking.
I say I'm fine seeing a bit of it. There are definitely some There are definitely some teams, there are compositions rather, that I'm fine with seeing. I'm fine with seeing the Orisa when it is the only thing you can play on the map, and it is just miles and miles above any of the alternatives. But when there are some opportunities for it, I would like to see a little bit of flexing into, even if you're staying on the meta, some characters that we've seen. I know you mentioned the May. There's always things like the Bastion, the Sombra. We'll probably see a bit of things that are just barely off of that center line composition of the same five or six, seven characters that we see a lot, but a bit more. I want to stop myself from saying experimental, but I suppose just not the same literal same 10 characters in every single fight. I'd like to see some variance in things that's happening.
You know what? I agree. I would like to see some variants as well. You said Orisa, sometimes you just have to play it. That's just not true. You switch it up. Enter a handshake agreement with the other team. You're not going to play Orisa. You're both going to play Reinhardt. That's all you have to do. But of course, this is a very serious tournament, very serious stakes on the line. So you have to run the Orisa to keep that alive, right? Right?
And yeah, definitely another aspect of that as well is going to be the fact that in the stands of this tournament, if the Gold Lindenwood team here wants to make playoffs, they have to go 2-0. They have to win both matches today. And even then, there still are other things around the tournament that have to go their way. They need certain teams to lose certain matches. At this point, there is a world where Lindenwood goes 2-0. They could even win 4-0 map differential, and they still don't qualify for that phase two. But if they do want to qualify for that phase two, they have to win both of their games today, and that has to start here against this USC team.
It does, and I'm sorry to say I don't know enough about this USC team to make any predictions about them, but what I do know is things about Overwatch. We will probably be running that Orisa just the same as Lindenwood will be. So, it's at times it comes down to who plays the composition better, just who executes right, who executes in the correct Overwatch way, so, it could come down to that too.
Yeah, I'm bouncing through their profiles, trying to see what we're going to get a little bit of hint of. I'd expect maybe a bit of Tracer Sojourn coming out from Sawa. Looking at Jae Hyuk, gonna be surprised. These profiles are like almost all open. I can actually look at what people are playing. They play a lot of Venture on Jae Hyuk. I don't know if Venture is allowed today. I suppose we'll see if they lock it in and nobody makes an issue over it. But potentially a little bit of Cassidy and Sombra both on this player's profile. Chess Boss 24, what a good name, as their tank seemingly playing a lot of Winston. They have several other characters. Of course, they have some time on all of the tanks, as we do get a confirmation from production that Venture is not playable, so potentially going to see a bit more of that Cassidy or Sombra or whatever they lean into. The tank Chess Boss 24, again, a lot of time on Winston, but also obviously going to have time on all of those other top tier tanks, Arisa, Ramatra, JQ, all on the table. Then looking down at Doomguy and Goblin, seeing a decent bit of tank on Doomguy as well, but going to be on the support role today. So can't quite get an eye onto what they might be playing, as I do see a bit of Lucio and Zenyatta showing up on their profile. Wouldn't be surprised to see either of those characters. I feel like we haven't seen a Zenyatta in ages, so it'd definitely be nice to see. And then their last player, finally a privated profile, so can't quite stalk them down.
Zenyatta would be nice to see. You do not hear that often.
It's not the same three characters. We see Lucio, Kiriko, Moira almost every comp, and Bap as well, Baptiste as well. But I'd like to see something outside that standard four.
You're right, and people talk about how powerful Zenyatta is in the right, but I don't he just doesn't work right now. You know what I mean? Like I don't even think BAP works that well to be honest, but you still see him occasionally from time to time, much more than you see Zen. So I get the sentiment. I don't really want to see
Yeah.
Zenyatta to be honest with you.
So you always have Anna and Brig showing up on things like Midtown. You have your Lucio, your Kiri, your Moira, sometimes your Bap showing up basically anywhere. But let's see something else. I know that basically nobody plays Alari, Lifeweaver, or Mercy anymore. Nobody ever played Lifeweaver, so I guess I can't say any more for them. But I feel like there are just some characters that we don't see almost ever that I would like to see a tiny bit of. Although obviously we don't see them a lot for a reason. I do think it'd be nice to see a couple of those characters that we just don't see quite as often.
Yeah, especially Mercy, you know what I mean? Mercy is the best character in the game, right?
Yeah.
Right? Right, guys?
Yeah. Oh, we're heading to Nepal. Okay, we are getting in on our map. What are we gonna see here on this first point? I believe this is a specific map archetype that you were looking for.
This is the one. This is the one with the Rhine Symmetra. I would be so excited to see it again. They pulled it off so beautifully too. They used the TP to get the Rhine close to where he needed to be. Like we might see it, Xander. Looks like it might be coming out.
Okay. I still so what should we keep an eye out for while watching this composition? What is going to be their access point? What are they going to be trying to do in these fights?
You're gonna see them TPing essentially just themselves to a better position. The Reinhardt needs a lot of utility on top of him in order to be successful. You have that Lucio that gets him around, and you need that Lucio. But at times, it's just not enough. You need to use that TP to really give him the mobility that he needs to be able to get into the backline or even just on top of this team. Lindenwood pushing it up on the bottom. They mess up the TP just a little bit. That's going to be okay. Still going to make it to the point. Still going to lock it down before this other team can even really get there. They have their turrets set up. This point is basically Lindenwood's at the moment. No deaths so far. No fighting really going down just yet.
And yeah, they're trying to make a play out now. Very good commit on the Doom guy. Can't get the Swift step off in time. They run out, they get the pick, and now they have these enemy support taken out as Tracer on the back line trying to harass, but a beautiful fire strike. Gonna close away Chess Boss 24. They TP'd backwards as now already missing out a tank and a healer. Lindenwood, they start things off quick and hot, and they take a quick early possession point with a two-piece.
Yeah, maybe this USC team doesn't expect that Ryan to come out. You don't tend to see it a ton in organized play, so maybe they just don't know what they're doing or they don't know how to go into it. You see the TP come. Lindenwood tries to take this high ground. Somebody's kind of pushing onto this objective, so they're going to drop down, going to meet them right in the middle. No ultimates on the board. Going to see this window, though. If Ronan can stay alive, he's at 99%. Going to keep this space for themselves, get out some picks with it as well.
And yeah, they're thinking about committing here. You see the window come out, and it's an instant kill. Goodbye, Orisa. Goodbye, Cassidy. Goodbye, Kiriko. Ether picking up all three in the feed as Tracer on point, trying to harass. Gonna get a tiny bit of damage in. Ultimate, that pulse bomb at 91%, but is gonna go down. Lindenwood, they try to commit on the Lucio, but they get booped off. But regardless, at the cost of just a window, they pick up an incredibly quick fight win and still holding on that photon barrier for Symmetra up soon. The Mei and Lucio will still only at 70%, and yet their objective control already about at 70 as well.
Yeah, this is the kind of comp where it really teaches you the discipline you need to stay together as a team. While they're kind of meeting on top here, Luclorian has to run. They're just going to go to point, bring them to the point, bring them to the turrets, bring them to the damage, to this close range Reinhardt. No reason to meet them up top when you can just force them into a bad position.
And yeah, Tracer watching out with this pulse bomb. You have to keep an eye on Sawa. Photon Barrier comes out now. They're trying to make a play. They want to try and pick a side to commit on, but they just can't quite catch anyone. The Lucio and Tracer on the back end just slightly too fast for them to catch on. The Photon Barrier gets stalled out as Lindenwood. They're waiting on these ults now. The pulse bomb comes out. It is going to break down the lamp. Terror Surge comes out. They're going to get knocked in though. Lucio B going to come out now to keep everybody alive for the moment as they do have the Blizzard coming out. It's going to be the red team's Lucio beat now coming out as USC trying to make themselves stay alive. Fire strike through the Matrix coming out. Lindenwood, they're on overtime. They can win this point by winning the fight. Shatter available if Euphorian wants to commit it. He's chasing down Jake. He's going to go down on the Cassidy, trying to get the pin on this Lucio. Ends up getting Javelin spinned into a wall. Can't quite get that Shatter off if they wanted it. Chest Bomb picks up another, as Sawa trades out another. Lindenwood, they're hiding out. They stall for a bit of time, but they are going to end up burning several ults in that fight for no avail.
They tried to keep it alive, and they may have overcommitted that. But on the other side, we saw we saw 5 ultimates come out from this USC team. Lindenwood still has this shatter online. That's all they really need just to make it work. They had 99%. I mean, they just have to get in, get their positioning, and that they are already doing. They're on the point, forcing this team to come down to them. The shatter is online. That's all they have to do is get a decent one off.
Or he's just trapped in the middle.
Orisa, you don't even need the shatter.
Yeah, Chess Boss just gets completely nuked away. Lindenwood, they're holding on the point. Nobody touched again! What is going on with these teams not getting on the objective? Lindenwood win the fight within moments, so it doesn't matter even if they did touch. But the USC team, they just don't get on the point. And we see an early, by probably 5 or 10 seconds, but regardless, an early conclusion to the first point as Lindenwood are going to find a way to snake that one away.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you lose your tank, but the fight is not lost just because your tank is gone. You have to keep an eye on that point. They don't even touch it. They don't even get that overtime off. An unfortunate turn of events, but I think also that fight was very unlikely to go in the way of USC's favor just because they had pretty much nothing to work with. They used all of their ultimates just to flip the point in their favor while Lindenwood was at 99%. So moving into this next point, they're gonna have to watch out for her C9ing. Essentially, I mean, we see the Zarya, pretty good character into that Orisa. Gonna have to watch out for that high output of damage she does.
And yeah, USC are holding the same composition. I can't say that I like to see it. They lost against Lindenwood Comp A. Lindenwood, they're swapping things over for the next objective. They're going on to Comp B. As now they're committing onto this backline. Euchlorian already so high charge on that Zarya, aiding onto the push by Zippy. They pick up two. Ronan finds one. Finn finds one. It's just Sawa's Tracer alive. Gonna go down to the side click from the Lucio as it's a quick team kill for Lindenwood as they'll start ticking up this first progress and setting up for the refight.
Yeah, this charge from Euchlorian gonna be huge in that fight. He's only had 34% ult thus far, but Lindenwood gonna be pretty ahead. Gonna have some decent advantage. Of course, this next one's still gonna be dry. This Coalescence, though, building it up before we see that Kitsune can make all the difference here. It's already at 68, 69%. You know, this fight hasn't really started yet. I mean, they're kind of trying to be, this Tracer's kind of trying to be pesky in the back, getting really weak, getting that recall forced out. Now there's really no escapability for them. They have to just kind of go back to their team and wait for that cooldown to come back. But they're just kind of there's not a lot of fighting going on from this team. They're just kind of waiting it out. Maybe gonna depend on Sawa to get a kill. But we see this Coalescence come down. Goblin getting weak. Chess Boss first out of the fight yet again. And that's two down. They're kind of getting the flip, but I mean, with two down, this Tracer not going to be able to do much on her own.
And yeah, trying to steal that point away, but Lindenwood, they get the point. Finn gonna find that kill on Sawa, and it feels like they're trying to play so reactionary. They're waiting for Lindenwood to make a mistake, but just farming ult on the high ground. They wait till they have their commit. Lindenwood, there's just no world for them to ever make such a massive mistake, and the USC roster basing their entire fight theory off of it. As a little bit of poke on this top left side, Lindenwood gonna force them back. The fear of a Death Blossom in an enclosed building is just too much to fight. Kitsune coming out now. They're gonna try and make a play. USC being a bit proactive now. Death Blossom comes out on the back line. They are gonna get the kill down quick. A quick Suzu to cover them, and a Javelin into the head of Zippy. Gonna pin him away, get that kill closed out. As they're trying to get the flip, Deadeye comes out. It will get one. Finn, though, gonna find one on the side of the railgun. Terra Surge comes out now. They're gonna get some more kills, as it is just Euchlorian gonna be left. Goes down. But on the other side, they burned 3 ults for just a simple take.
Yeah, they burn 3 ults. We see the switch
Winston.
off the Orisa to the Winston. I was going to say that Taro maybe a little unnecessary, but if you're gonna make the swap, I guess it's fine to give it up, switching it up to the Monkey. Lindenwood still has 3 ultimates on the board and 6% to cap. This is kind of a similar situation to what we saw for USC in the last round, where it was just last minute using all their ults in the final seconds for the other side. The beat drop comes
Wow.
down. Lindenwood gonna push it in. They had completely avoid Chess Boss's dive and even get him extremely weak in the backline. He's getting so low. Ether able to get that chip damage,
Three-man grab comes out.
take him down.
Wow. Yeah, they're trying to play on with their Lucio beat inside of the grab, but they still lose out on Sawa. They're trying to make a play. Overclock comes out. Goodbye to Goblin. Jake Hook, the next target. Goodbye to Cassidy. As now on the backside, Kiri gonna go down. And Lindenwood, I thought that Lucio ult was a tiny bit aggressive, but I suppose when you're full on rushing, it's gonna work out for the side of the Lions. And they're gonna take a super clean 2-0 onto USC. Jake Hook picking up the play of the game on the Cassidy. But regardless of the sharpshooting on that Deadeye, it's not going to be enough for them to win the point.
Yeah, you can win a fight with as many ultimates as you want to win it with, but if you use all of them in the last moments when you have to defend for another 100%, it's just gonna be tough to hold it down. But I think the moment that really sealed it down in that last fight for Lindenwood was gonna be the time, the monkey jumps way too late. The beat went off, and with the beat, the Lindenwood team sped into the fight, able to get that initiative and push themselves forward and throw the monkey off his course. There's nothing he could really do. The Reaper saw him in the back line. He got him very weak. And by the time he was able to jump back to his team, there just wasn't enough time to keep him alive. Lindenwood was just faster in that scenario, and the beat was to just have the tempo to move forward, move into the position they needed, and throw the monkey off. Maybe with that was an added bonus. Maybe they weren't expecting the monkey just yet, but it was certainly an added bonus. But Lindenwood would just pull it off a little bit faster and in just an all around coordinated way. That what I love about the composition they ran on Village with the Ryan and with the Symmetra is just how it's so simple and it's such an easy way to do it, and that's not as an insulting way, it's an easy way to keep your team together and to
For
keep
sure.
yourselves on the same page. And once you can do something like that, you can see the coordination come out in other compositions just like the Zarya one we saw in the second map. So that's what I love about it is that you just see the coordination come from this team, and then you see it translate into other things, and that's all you really need.
And yeah, I can definitely agree with that. One of the things I was kind of worried about for a bit on that Ren Sim comp was how tightly they were packed together in those corners. Pulse Bomb, if it went perfect, could have caused absolute carnage, but they just didn't give Sawa an opportunity. They zoned them off. If the Tracer commits, they're dead before they can get any abilities off. As it's definitely always nice to see that level of coordination coming out as Linden would strive ahead for a clean 2-0 on the opening map of Nepal. Looking ahead, it's going to be the USC pick on hybrid. I feel like at this point, with the comps they're running, I feel like they're really dedicated. I know I mentioned it looking at their profiles, but J Hooks Cassidy seems like it's going to be a mainstay. So, considering that, which of these hybrid maps are you wanting to go to best set up the Cowboy?
But I think we're swapping out, J-Hook for
Oh, it's J Hooks.
Paranoia.
Okay, never
So,
mind.
the
New
Cassidy certainly
character. No more
something
Cassidy.
maybe Paranoia is a way better Cassidy, who knows? I really don't. But it could really mean anything. This team, maybe they're gonna throw us into a whatever the first map is. Um, maybe that's to throw Lindenwood off. You can see
Whatever
all
the
the
first map
records.
is.
You know that this team has never played what is that, Parisio? You
I
know
think
this
it's like
team has never.
Paris, like in France, maybe? Paris?
Oh, that
Pariso?
could be it. Uh, Paris, I
Uh,
love 2CP. When's the 2CP map pick?
oh, I thought, oh wow, Hanamura, Hanamura.
Volskaya. No, 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 that's an
Goofy game mode, goofy game mode.
but I don't know what we're gonna see from Paranoia. Similarly, I don't know what this team is gonna bring us to. Really could be any of the four, or I guess any of the three. Um, if they've seen Lindenwood play, you watch your opponent's past games, you kind of see what their strategies are.
Hollywood.
You might go to Hollywood. You've seen this team, you've seen Lindenwood not be super successful on Hollywood. So maybe you bring them there, or maybe you play to your own strengths and play what you've won, if you're USC, and you go to another map that you're good at. Maybe that's why everyone picked Kings Row and they all thought they were better than everyone else at Kings Row. But this time, not the same kind of situation, I don't think. There's no Kings Row on the board, so it could be Eichenwald, could be Midtown, could be Hollywood. Really anyone. There's no way to tell at this point.
Yeah, it'll definitely be interesting to keep an eye on. Now, going over toward Hollywood, I feel like there are a lot of things that we'll have to keep an eye out for. As I know, one of the last times we saw this map, we've seen it, of course, once or twice since then, but I keep thinking back to that last match on SIUE, that seven best of seven show match. I keep thinking back to the massive Sigma Rock that single handedly won the series, and I really would love to see a bit of Lindenwood Sigma on the map.
We just might. Lindenwood gonna be starting off on defense. We
Oh, we
could see
playing on the
that Sigma.
nighttime Hollywood. Wait, the sky looks so nice.
The sky is beautiful. There's a plane and there's the moon. So many stars. Lindenwood could that back to the game, right? Lindenwood could they could pick out that Sigma. I mean, I don't think they've been super successful on it since that time. Um,
There's
ah,
a roadhog on my screen.
They hovered Roadhog at the beginning of the
There's
last
no
game,
Roadhog on
so
my screen.
there's no Roadhog on my screen. It looks like we might be seeing, what is it? E-commerce, Echo Mercy in the sky. Um, I don't see Mercy a lot, so maybe this is something Lindenwood won't know what to do about, just because you don't see it. I mean, all you really need to do is kill her, but you
I
just
feel
don't
like the
deal with
real
it often.
concern there is that they already have an Ashe on the composition. I feel like trying to play this flyy Echo Mercy is going to work for the first 10 seconds, and then it's going to fall flat when Zippy hits 3 random headshots and kills both of them.
It just might, but
Oh,
we
there's no
don't.
Mercy. That's a brig.
Okay, all right. You know what? That's a little better for that team. Mercy's kind of a rough case in organized play such as this. She's the easiest target to go for. Gonna see the monkey, and then this is the full dive essentially for the side of USC. They get onto this high ground. Something different though we're seeing from Lindenwood, I just noticed, is we're going with the BAP and the Ana as their supports. That's not typical. Not a lot of saving Ana you can do on the BAP other than that immortality field. But this monkey is gonna try his best to keep this high ground his.
Wow, Sawa
And
almost gets nuked.
Euclorian not giving it up easily. He knows where his Ana is, and he knows he can stay alive and keep that high ground away from USC. They're going to keep trying to get up there, keep trying to build their own nano, but they're just not able to crack Euclorian off of it.
And yeah, they're diving in now on the back line. They are going to get whip shotted off. The Winston not going to be able to find his mark. Either going to find the kill on Sawa on the back line. Chess Boss, 1 HP on point. He wants a way out. He's trying to jump back. And in the lieu of the Winston will be the death of the entirety remaining section of the team. Winston and Brig flying their way back to their base. They're going to get met by their own Tracer on the respawn. But Lindenwood, they have some really nice ult farms. I suppose both teams already getting pretty close to a couple different ults, as it'll be interesting to see this next fight with some of those developing into real.
Yeah, they try to get this dive onto these squishy characters in the Ana and the Ashe and the BAP in the back. They just weren't able to do it fast enough. This Chessbot's gonna jump up here with the Echo. Gonna get really weak and has no primal, so he has to stay alive here. Gonna make the dive. Gonna get
Wow.
booped back again with the Nano. The ult or the nade's gonna come down on Ether. That's gonna be a huge death for Lindenwood. Ooh,
I know.
Nano
Wow,
comes
they're
out
gonna
as well.
nano Euclorian. Yeah, they're trying to refight this, but Chess Boss, they got their play off so much quicker. They have a tick already. As Lindenwood, they are getting killed out. Finn get the pick on Paranoia's Echo, but it's just not gonna be enough. You see Winston trying to dive back in. Primal coming out now. Lindenwood, they're really committing. They want to try and stall this fight out until the rest of them can get back. Doom Guy gonna be committed on by Finn. He's just gonna get killed out by a biotic grenade though, as Euclorian trying to make something happen on the edge of the Primal, but they can't get a pick out. Ether goes down on his reset, and at this point, Lindenwood, they're just stalling for time.
Lindenwood is very successful at getting this team to use ultimates when the fight isn't really there's not really a threat of it going out of their favor. They were able to get Goblin to use that ultimate, use that rally, not totally necessary. And then right at the end of or right at the beginning of the fight, Paranoia also ended up using their duplicate as well. Lindenwood going into this next fight with quite an advantage in terms of ultimates. Chessboss has this primal, but Lindenwood has their blade, they have their bob, they have their window, they have a lot of ultimates over this other side, and they have a decent shot at holding down this high ground as well with the Ashe.
Blade coming
Here
out.
comes the blade.
Yeah, they're trying to make a play on it. Euclorian to get one Zippy as well. Genji trying to dash away. Whip shot to keep Finn back in cover while he gets full healed up. As now it's going to be the commitment on the enemy Winston. He'll be staggered by just a couple of seconds there. As Lindenwood, sure enough, with the hands of just their single ult, they are going to close that fight up. There's only an enemy primal. I suppose they're working on a nano and the pulse bomb as well. But the hands of Lindenwood, they're still holding on to two super strong ults here in the form of the Bob and the Amp Matrix.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing I want to note is Doom Guy's nades in these fights have been hitting tremendously. They've been hitting. Finn almost dies to it in the last fight. Euclorian has to back completely out here. The Bob gonna
Oh, the
come
Bob
down.
gets whipped off. Brig gonna whip the Bob off the bridge, as now it's gonna be the Primal on the backline. Chess Boss gonna be taking control of this building, as it's gonna be a nice pulse bomb onto Ronin on the backline. Can't quite dodge that one, as Chess Boss gonna find Ether on the backline. They're trying to commit. It's the Winston and Tracer versus Lindenwood. Zippy gonna find one on the Ashe, the Brig and Ana able to keep them alive. as Lindenwood, they're really unfortunately not able to keep that bob in play. They try to send it across the bridge as a form of harassment, but a beautiful whip shot from Goblin sends it into no man's land, stuck behind a building. It just can't get any lines of sight.
I'm interested to see Chess Boss getting really low. Euclorian gonna go for it. Zippy
Wow,
gonna
they
take
should
out Paranoia in the
that heal.
process. But yep,
Yeah,
Lindenwood's gonna stay on this high ground, not gonna let them get away. They're getting so weak up there. Chess
what
Boss gonna
is
be
Chess
burned to
Boss
death.
doing in there?
What a mess.
He walks it down the bridge, puts his bubble, not hitting anyone, turns around, Zippy just walks at him and guns him down from behind.
But I'm interested to see, and I would love to hear their thought process as on the Ana and the BAP here, and the combination of supports. It's gonna be a little bit difficult, I think, to keep this Ana alive, and she might be dying a little more often with the Baptiste. But we see the Nano come out, gonna kind of a dry Nano, gonna build up that blade for the next fight. Already gets one,
Yeah,
gets
they just
two,
don't
both
even need
supports
it.
out.
Yeah, they dive in. Finn gonna pick up the kills on both supports. Now they're gonna close it out with Sawa as the Nano comes in while they dive in. Literally, I believe that was 2v5 as nobody else was even close to line of sight. But they go in, they find the targets on the back line. The Genji dashes through everybody. The Winston obviously can get to whatever section of the fight he wants with a jump. And they just get on that back line. They find the weak links and they get those quick kills. As you see Sawa trying to rotate around. They're going for it again now. Blade comes out. They're trying to find the play on the supports. They're stuck away from the team. Rally comes out to try and keep this Ana alive, but Winston jumping on. It's a split fight now, as it will be the other side of it. Winston for Chess Boss trying to dive in on the enemy supports. Primal coming out to keep Brig away, though. The healers are completely locked away here, as Lindenwood wreak havoc on both ends of the fight. Now it's going to be Genji and Winston trying to rejoin, as it's going to be Zippy going down to Chess Boss, but the Winston and Genji are now back for Lindenwood. They won their side of the fight. They rejoined, as Lindenwood, this side of the fight didn't go well for them, but the other side went just well enough that they can get back, and it's going to be the round complete. A beautiful set of time management by the Lions gets them a super, super nice round one defense.
Absolutely. I felt like there were multiple fights happening in that last point, and I was only able to watch one at a time. I felt slow in that situation. But watching watching the cart, I mean, Lindenwood was able to pull it out at the end there and hold down their cart that they needed. That was just it was just weird. It was a lot. I'm not sure. I'm not really even sure what happens after.
I say, yeah, they saw the time. I assume they saw the time as the play worked out perfectly with it, but they knew that they had those weaker two dead players on the back. So the Winston Genji, they commit onto the deep play on the supports, while instead of covering for their supports due to that lack of time, Chess Boss Paranoia saw why they simply chose to take the 3v3 on the front. If they could win it out quick, they get the checkpoint, they get more time, but Lindenwood, they're able to stall out for long enough. They kept themselves on their feet. They stayed alive long enough for Euclorian and Zippy to close out their side, or Euclorian and the Genji to close out their side of the fight. They returned back. They killed the Winston. They stalled the Tracer off point, got the kill on it eventually. And due to the time management, none of the players on the respawn could get to the objective in time. As Lindenwood, they closed them out with no overtime, as USC get completely stumped away on their attack.
Yeah, they were able to push it just a little bit, but Lindenwood, they're starting off
Cassidy is
on
on my
this
screen.
dive. Cassidy is on our screen. Paranoia is on Cassidy. Lindenwood gonna just make the jump right away. They're Euclorian gonna try to get this high ground. Not gonna be given away super easily, but really what they're doing here is just building this nano. I think that is what really matters to them in this particular moment. Euclorian gonna make the jump. We have
Ow.
backline pressure from Finn. Gonna be able to take out Doom Guy. Euclorian gonna be traded out in the process, but that's 2 down, 3
Wow,
down for
Finn is
Finn.
popping off. It's a third kill for the Tracer. Ether picks one, Sawa picks one. It's a team kill for the Lions here, only 20 or 30, 40 seconds into the round, as the Lions did exactly what USC had been trying to do the entire attack and couldn't. They jumped in through that arch. The whip shot from Goblin didn't get the Winston off, and from there's nothing they can do. That whip shot was the only thing keeping them safe, and Goblin, it just wasn't optimal enough to keep the dive threat away. So the entire backline crumbled, and there's just nothing they can do. Lindenwood now already on the point. They have 5 minutes and 20 seconds to meet the same distance that the opposition had.
Yeah, this part of New Hollywood, though, is notorious for getting stuck. You don't always have the best of opportunities to take this high ground back into your favor. But what we saw last time was Finn get into a position on Tracer where he could be just in the right spot. You Aether going to be taken down, though, while Finn is trying to get in position. He is up there, does get whip shot down. The team is not on the same page right now. They need to try to get back together and get into a place where they can pull off what they pulled off on round one. Pulse Bomb comes down though, hits
Wow!
Guy, catches him in the act. That is huge for Lindenwood. Pulse Bomb comes down from Sawa as well, not quite catching anything. But Lindenwood now have this positioning that they needed. They have this high ground.
Yeah,
Finn to take out yet another one. They're pushing right into it. Paranoia will not live long
Ukraine
in the
going down.
face of the monkey.
And yeah, Lindenwood, they're already potentially in last fight distance. If they get a team kill, the game is over. You see they have 2 to 3 players for max momentum on this cart. They know that right now the max speed is what they need. Lindenwood, they could primal and try and C9 them, as we'll see what they call to do. The point already at the end. Now you see Euchlorine going high. It's going to be the nano coming out. You could see the primal come out at any time. Chessboss going to go down. The point is on, and they just don't touch the point. I don't think they have a chance in the fight. Their Winston is already dead. But at that point, you're playing for the series. You have to get on the point. And Lindenwood, they don't even have to use the primal. They keep them off the point. We're going to see Finn here on this first point. Yeah, they're just lighting everybody up. But USC just don't touch the point again. And that is going to be a borderline early conclusion here on Hollywood. And that will be a 2-0 win on the series for the side of the Lions.
Yep, that is 50% of what they need on the day. Another 2-0, and we see a shot at their they're moving forward into the next. What I love about what we saw on this, on Hollywood in particular, is how beautifully the executions of the dives went off. You need both Winston and Tracer to be in an incredible position and be on the same page. We saw that on the first point, and we saw Finn getting into position on the second, and actually ended up evening out the fight for his team, sticking that bomb onto the Ana. But what really matters is Winston. He can dive, he can do damage. He doesn't do enough of it to keep himself alive, and he needs to have some kind of dive buddy with him, and that was the Tracer, of course. And the Tracer just distracts the supports from keeping the other Winston alive. So when you have that coordination that they did, they were able to pull it off, take the supports out, so the monkey doesn't stand a chance on the other side of the map trying to maybe harass their supports at the same time. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah, it's just such a weird end to both of those maps. They're trying to be me, I guess, with the amount of fans of Cloud9 I'm seeing here. They just don't get on the point for 2 straight maps in a row. As again, I feel like it's really hard there to force out, but you know the Lions are coming up on the point. You know they're about to close out the map, the round, the series, everything all at once together. And I feel like you just have to make a play to get out of your spawn, get out of the filming board or the filming room, and you have to do something to get on that point. Even if the fight ends up going poorly and you lose anyways, you're going to lose anyways if you don't take the fight. And I feel like it's just something that you have to be seeing these teams make. You have to see them getting out on the point and taking those fights. As for the side of the Lindenwood Lions, there's nothing more they can do. They're on the point. They closed out the map. They killed the target that came to them. And with that, the series is just coming to a very quick and short close.
Yep, that is true. We are going to be having another game today at 2:30, but we will be back before game time to talk to you just a little bit. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are joined with Cam, the coach of the Gold team. Before the second game, Cam, how are you doing right now?
I'm doing pretty good. We wrapped up our game, I think like 40, 50 minutes ago. Um, Like it was a real quick 2-0 as you guys saw. The team we played was good, but I think they were a little out of their depth with this one. We did go back and watch some of their previous game footage. They just had a playoff game in I think Open Division NACE, Open Plus maybe NACE, where they lost to another college that had a player on it named, or a DPS player on it named Jake the Dog. So being beat by a DPS Finn the Human in ABC felt rather appropriate. That was kind of all we needed to see before we knew we were going to win.
That's
Um,
that's PTSD.
yeah.
You're losing to the whole cast.
Yeah, Adventure Time based PTSD was our game plan going into it. We couldn't figure out quite how to get Finn a Adventure Time character model, so we put him on Genji because it's a sword.
Mm. And speaking of your compositions over on the side of Hollywood, I know I heard there's a bit of an interesting story. Tell us a bit about the Anna and the Brig being paired up there.
Bap.
Um,
Or Bap, yeah.
yeah. See, as the higher and higher elo you get, dive gets more and more difficult, and Kellen or Ronan is a really competent Ana player, but unfortunately Brig is just not in a good spot. Brig just sucks right now. So I was looking around and I saw I think one or two scrim VODs that I was and managed to uncover from Toronto Defiant, where they ran Baptiste instead of Brig to moderate success and treated him as a main support. And it felt as though that they sacrificed one of the dive DPS and have something like a Cassidy or an Ashe or maybe even a Hanzo at like extreme cases. Um, so that their strategy was no longer like belay whoever's diving on us. It was kill whoever's diving on us and have like the Winston and whatever the other dive DPS buy time. And since Kirk is a really competent BAP, and he used to be our BAP player up until like a couple weeks ago, we figured it was a perfect pairing to put him on BAP and Kellen on Ana, with Bloom on arguably two of his best DPS, Cassidy and Ashe. It just seemed like it was going to be a great pairing. So we tried it on Tuesday to great success. And then we double blocked on Thursday, where during both blocks it worked really well against teams well above our SR. And we decided to implement it in the game today just to see how it went. And as it did in the scrims, it went beautifully. It kind of ended up just being a shooting gallery for the Ashe more than anything else. But with the BAP and the Ashe together, they were able to bring Winston down to like half HP before he took any dive ever. So the only time he ever got a dive off was when he was nanoed mid jump so that he had health again. A weird composition for sure, but we got it off of good sources. We practiced it a lot this week and it worked out well.
Awesome, cool to hear. So I want to jump into both of our teams. Both of the Lindenwood Overwatch teams are
Mhm.
playing today. I want to know updates about the Black team. How is their game? How did their game go? Things like that.
Well, LU Black has been like 50 places behind LU Gold in the standings for a little while, mostly because of their issues with forfeits. They had, I think, two teams forfeit against them, which kind of messed with their map score a little bit. But I know Coach Matt, he's a brilliant coach. He used to be assistant coach to me before I moved him over to be head coach of LU Black. Um, he's been working some wonders with them over there, and they had a huge nail biter of a game today that went straight up to the last minute. I think they finished like 8 or 9 minutes ago. Um, they played uh, they played Nepal. They won Nepal 2-0, and then they went to Midtown where they lost in OT rounds 3-4, and then on Rialto they very much at the end real close, but they ended up winning 2-0 on Rialto. So both gold and black have the same exact like win-loss record right now. They're both 4-3. So it's possible that they play each other. The map differential's not there. So it's unlikely because even though they have the same win-loss, they don't have the same map differential. Gold's is a lot higher. So I don't know. Well, we'll have to see. But they're both doing pretty well right now.
And then, yeah, I have got one more for you before we let you go. I do want to ask, coming into what realistically is likely going to be the last game of the season,
Mhm.
unless some parts of the bracket go basically perfectly in your guys' favor, what has the growth been like for this gold team? What are some of the biggest things that you've seen grown throughout the season? And in that aspect of watching for growth, what should we be keeping an eye out for in this last match?
Well, I think that throughout the season, the team has gotten a lot more cohesive and worked together a lot better. Their dive has gotten really good. Their rush has gotten really good. I think that their best play points have been tempo, like controlling tempo, just trying to make it work in their favor as best as possible. Making it fast, making it aggressive, not giving the enemy room to breathe has been something that they've been getting better and better at. It's still something they have to work on a little bit with dive, especially, but with rush, they're very good at it. There are some older comps that Amanda and your producer Joe might recognize that we're planning on bringing out during the last game if we can, hopefully. So you can keep an eye out for the the revitalized six-man rush comp that we used to run like 3 years ago on the team. So we're gonna be likely swapping over to a five-man rush if we can at some point because we've been practicing it a lot throughout the last month or so of scrimming, and I wasn't sure that it was there yet, but our scrim on Thursday told me otherwise that their five-man rush is really 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 good right now. I think that there are a lot of people who have grown quite a bit. Bloom's aim has become impeccable. Finn the Human has actually learned a little bit of restraint. Tempo is something that Kale has worked on a lot, and he's gotten a lot better. Cooldown management from Ronan has been very, very important, and he's gotten significantly better at it. And like survivability has been one of the biggest issues that Ether has faced throughout the entire season, and he's definitely gotten a whole lot better at it. So I think focusing on those points is going to be really, really important.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Cam. We appreciate all of your insights and thank you for a great season. We will see you whenever we see you next time. Thank you once again. Welcome back. We are jumping right into game, getting started. Lindenwood Lions against the Quinnipiac Bobcats, if I said that correctly. Looks like we're seeing some monkeys, seeing some Genji, seeing that Ana Bap that the coach had talked about in the interview between games, and then of course the comp we never get to see from the other side. Xander, how are you doing?
I am doing fantastic. Had a nice little break as we are now getting things back going against the Bobcats as we are seeing about the compositions we expected based on the pre-hovers, that Symmetra changing back to the Tracer for Bob Ross on the side of the Bobcats is already getting things off to some early poke. We saw some unfortunate Cassidy performances in the last few games. Lindenwood looking to bring it out now for their first time as we'll see if they can get some work going on it. Lucio Tracer on the backline here, putting some good harass down. You see getting absolutely deep and personal. But Cassidy killing out just a tad. Lucio. Going to be a very quick kill now as Cassidy trying to get things rolling with the first opening kill here. Bob Ross low HP as well, so try and stay safe behind these walls. But Winston diving in on the backline now. It's a deep threat onto the backline. Milky Way stuck out on point as well as they're trying to make it happen. But Milky Way for the moment just not quite staying alive. He is going to get back behind the wall and get healed up. But, oh, GSR going to find that kill on Sojourn onto Ether. Bap going to go down now. It's Lindenwood in danger. Euphorian low HP. He will get bursted down just barely. Railgun shot going to take him down as it will be the Sojourn picking up kill after kill. Finn trades it back, and then it will be the fight win as Milky Way grabbing that last kill to close it out for the Bobcats.
Yeah, and Bobcats quite a few ultimates on the board they're really high on almost everything except just a tad getting taken out just a little bit early.
Torbjorn!
Torbjorn Sombra. That is the switch we are seeing from our DPS players on the Lindenwood Lions. Torbjorn, we don't see it often. We saw it a little bit last week with Finn, but that Sombra, the Sombra with Zippy could make all the difference for this team at any given moment.
Yeah, we'll see how these new characters go on. You'll see EMP or Hack going on to Sojourn already to try and get the kill on the committal dive. Not quite going to get them finished out. GSR backs up. He will get back to the rest of the team as for the moment, everybody about full HP. Euclorian taking a solid chunk. He'll get healed up. Is now trying to make a dive on the back line. Now Kitsune coming out from the side of the Bobcats. It's going to be a quick kill. GSR going down on the Sojourn. Not going to be able to make value out of this Kitsune rush coming from their Kiriko. As it will be Euclorian trying to hide behind here, get healing out. The bubble to keep him alive for just long enough. Milky Way going to put some pressure on Zippy. Going to find the kill on Bob Ross. The Virus going to get that kill on the Tracer. As the Bobcats still in control of the point, but missing out on some key members right now. We'll see if the commit comes out now. GSR back with the overclock, hunting down Finn, as that will be the death on the Torb. Zippy can trade one back in Milky Way, but GSR's overclock finding out both Lion DPS members as Euclorian trying to get back to safety. But for the moment, the Bobcats still in complete control of the objective. Still, Euclorian trying to make something happen. They have their nano if they want to commit it, but for the moment, it will be a GSR trying to make a play now. GSR finding the kill on Ether. They try to trade it back with the Lucio B sound barrier coming in to keep them all healthy. Just a tad gets that kill then onto Zippy as well, putting a very good performance up here on the Lucio. Finally going to go down to Ronan as the Nano coming out as well, trying to make something happen here. They're running out of time. The Lions have to do something. Milky Way going to get the kill down onto Finn as the Lions are starting to fall away. GSR gets a kill now. EMP coming out. Zippy trying to find value. They kill out Milky Way. Euclorian low HP. Zippy low HP. They have to get some healing, but the Lucio just can't heal them quick enough. Ether gonna get a kill onto one before being traded away by the enemy Lucio, and with Zippy alive on his own, gonna get taken down as the Bobcats trying to close the point up. Torbjorn just can't make it back to the point in time as the Bobcats take this first objective 100-0.
Yeah, first thing I have to mention is Euclorian getting so weak at the end, maybe trying to stay up before having to use his primal and not popping it alive. He ends up dying before he can get it off. It could have made the difference there. You know, the Bobcats were low on numbers. Lions were low on numbers as well. But, you know, that primal, you just really need it in those final moments. Lindenwood, they have this comp, and, you know, it's just something about it is just they're just not getting on the same page. Euclorian tries to make space for his team. He tries to get something out of it by jumping in, but he ends up getting too low with little follow-up to be able to do anything about it. We're going to switch it up this time around. No more Torbjorn. Going to move Finn to the Reaper, and we're going to have that the TP out of spawn likely for Zippy. Switching it up back to the Sombra. This is, I believe they call it the five-man rush. Gonna stick with the Winston into this verse here. Ronan already getting incredibly weak. Euclorian also on the very weak side. It's kind of good news for Ronan. He'll get that coalescence pretty quick in this scenario.
And yeah, they're trying to make something happen here, but Zippy 1 HP on the backline. Disruptor shot tries to get that tag, but it's not quite going to find the shot, as GSR has been this massive threat for the Bobcats, consistently finding good targets, consistently picking up kills. Not able to get that one there on GSR, as the Lions are on a bit of a short timer with their lower HP pools, as they're getting chunked away. They retreat back into the side building. The Disruptor shot again denying them access. Milky Way going to find the burst with the team down onto Euclorian. The Winston is down, as the Bobcats are going to siege forward, trying to make a play. Milky Way going to get the kill onto Finn, pushing forward now. They try and snipe Ether out of the skies, as the Lucio barely going to get the rollout backwards to the bubble from the newly changed Zarya, as Reaper and the Winston going to be subbed out for some other characters.
Yeah, they gave it a try. They went with what they could, and it was not working out in their favor. They're going to switch it up to the Zarya. All reliable. We're moving it to the Zarya. We have this coalescence to get started on the fight. Almost nothing to worry. Well, you know, we have a lot to worry about, actually. Coalescence is going to be the first to come out, though. Lindenwood's going to push with it as hard as they can. Push into this Sojourn. This overclock comes down.
Wow.
And the comes down as well, but that is 3 ultimates out of the pockets of the Bobcats. Only one came out for Lindenwood in that scenario. Only the coalescence to start off. That's a lot of ults, Xander.
And yeah, they used a couple ults there. The issue for the Lions is that they don't really have any. Euclorian swapping off the tank. I think Finn swapped off the Reaper and back to it, so he got his ult charge reset. I'd have to go back and take a look to make sure. As coming out of spawn now, Kitsune coming out doing everything they can to keep Milky Way alive, as both sound barriers are coming out from the Lucios. 76% for the Bobcats, looking to stall for some time. They are committing both of their support ults here. EMP coming out, hitting a large amount of the team, as Milky Way going to get nuked away just a tad. Tad and the Kiriko, the next targets. Bob Ross on point as well, trying to harass, but it is just going to be deaths for the side of the Bobcats. Lindenwood, they have a couple low HP players though, but either going to get one. GSR though finding a trade back as Mango Shark picking up a kill as well. GSR, railgun shot after railgun shot. Lindenwood were able to flip the point during that fight. They got a little bit of percent as now Finn trying to make something happen. The Zarya bubble though just can't keep them alive. They get up to 21%, but it's already a reflip for the Bobcats.
It's really just the character Sojourn. That's really just what it is. And at what point do you decide it's our turn to match the Sojourn? We have this ultimate from Finn here, and this team has to touch. Zippy is going to be able to at least trigger overtime. Going to try to take down GSR as best he can, but to keep his life alive is what matters. Milky Way and Just a Tad going to be down. Euclorian has very little HP, but the team will be staying alive here, and they actually
really
force out this overclock.
Yeah, I don't know what you're doing committing your overclock here. You're in a 5v2. GSR is going to pick up one kill on Zippy, but they didn't bait out another ult. That is a massive overcommit by GSR that could potentially spell poorly for them later in the round.
Yeah, that is one very big ult, arguably the most impactful on his team. They have this Terra and this Kitsune coming up, both pretty impactful as well, but Lindenwood have control of this point. They have control of this map at the moment. What they really need to do is just avoid the Javelin for Finn and just go in with their ultimates first and keep this fight alive for themselves and keep the space that they have.
And yeah, they're trying to make a fight now. It's going to be the Terror Surge coming up, but they can't get the slam. Milky Way just gets chunked down. That's what the Reaper does on this composition, just instantly kills this tank when they get in melee, as Finn going to hunt down Just a Tad on the back end as well. Going to hunt down Mango Shark, triple kill for the Reaper, as Euclorian picks up GSR, as not having the overclock spells absolute nightmares for them. It's still not even halfway up, just barely under that milestone, whereas Lindenwood, they're holding a Grav Blossom, and they're soon on their EMP and beat as well.
Lindenwood has all of the advantage in the world with these ultimates. You know, you cannot rely comfortably on the Pulse Bomb, and you shouldn't. The ult comes down from Finn, catching two.
Yeah, both supports go down here. Euclorian picks up Milky Way as well. It's a 4-piece. GSR going out. The only player left is Bob Ross's Tracer on the side. But look at the top middle of your screen. Keep an eye on those percents. 95, 96. Tracer's getting set up for a sideways. Grab comes out to keep them off point. They can't touch. What a grab coming out from Euclorian Zarya to steal this round away. No final fight for the Bobcats, as Lindenwood, the round looked horrible at the start, but they claw things back, and we're heading to our third round here on Samoa.
You know, you see the Grav, the only person who's even able to touch his Tracer. That's something you have to really worry about, and that's the perfect commitment of Grav to keeping her from stalling. She can stall for a very long time, and if she can stall for long enough for her team to get back, that it could easily be a lost fight for Lindenwood. So that Grav comes out beautifully. We are switching it up for the side of Lindenwood, and you know what? For the side of the Bobcats as well. Lindenwood going to be switching up to that Junker Queen. We're going to be looking at Ramattra from Milky Way. It's one of your favorite characters. I do know that.
A player named Milky Way paired up on the Ramattra is definitely a dangerous sight from all of my collected experience, but I suppose we'll see how they go alongside it. As you see, Milky Way holding up that front line is going to get hacked here. Boywell comes out, they're trying to get the trap, but it's Bob Ross who gets shut down by the JQ Carnage as they're going to walk forward on it. They have that pressure, they're holding on this point choke as Milky Way there in his secondary form, trying to make a play, but another Maywall comes out. Milky Way trapped inside of it, trying to make a play. DPS coming out, he is going to hold things up for the moment with the side of that Void Barrier as they try and make a recommit onto Finn. 1 HP, but the commanding shout can keep them alive for just long enough as Lindenwood once again walling off Milky Way, and he is burned away. No more Omnic to worry about for the side of Lindenwood, as it will then be the Sojourn going down as again Euclorian and Finn are so low HP here, but they just aren't dying, and as long as you can keep them alive and re-healed, Lindenwood having zero issues in the round whatsoever so far.
Yeah, they're keeping it down. We see a switch off the Ramattra. I'm so sorry to tell you, we are back on Orisa, back to the sleeper composition, but Lindenwood is quite ahead in terms of ultimates, and they are going to prove that right now by throwing out this Coalescence, trapping that Lucio. Then going to be able to get those final HP points out of Lucio. GSR going to be pushed back. This team not going to go in at any time soon. Zippy keeping this tank hacked, keeping that hack up on at least someone. at all times is crucial. Lindenwood gonna have all kinds of ultimates to go with. A huge EMP
EMP
comes
hits
down.
everyone. Yeah,
That
the
is a
overclock came out from
5-man.
GSR. They're trying to find some credit with it, but everybody is just dead. A massive ultimate from Zippy. They only have to commit one ult. The enemy again overcommits that Sojourn ult. They're swapping the DPS to Reaper, so they're losing out on that Cassidy ult. GSR is now on the Cassidy, but they don't have any DPS ults now. They don't have Terra Surge. They only have the support ults, and they have to retake in the next 25%.
They don't have a lot of time. Finn's ult could come out. Even Euphorian's ult only have one, or they have both supports as an answer to it. He could get both ults out right here, right now, of the supports. Milky Way going to be kind of walled in. Not really going to matter too terribly much, but the May wall is going to matter. He is going to block in Milky Way just a little bit. He's able to make it out.
Both
Euphorian going to take out
Lucios.
Bob Ross, though. Both Lucio ults come down. The Kitsune comes down as well. With 5% left, this team has to touch.
Keep
They
an eye
have
on
to find
JQ ult.
some kind of answer here.
Euchlorian has all there's gonna come out of hits on at least two there. Terrorist trying to make a play for Milky Way, but it's gonna get hacked out of it, and Milky Way gets nuked down by the virus. Zippy Bloom a double kill on this one. The coalescence to keep everybody off point as well. GSR tries to roll through the wall, and even if he made it, he won't make it. As at the hands of a beautiful round 2 grab and a beautiful round 3 performance, Lindenwood are gonna wipe Samoa off the board in their hands.
I think what the first round showed us was that they just weren't ready to execute that composition that they were trying to execute, and then they switched it up, uh, maybe a little bit late. I mean, if they even did, I don't even remember. It's been so long, right? But they just weren't ready to execute it, and it just didn't go in their favor. You have Monkey on one side jumping in, trying to get value, and then you have just the coordination just not quite there for the other side. But we're moving into the next map. We are moving into Midtown. This is a strong one for Lindenwood. We've seen a lot of great things for them, from them. Probably see some more defensive dive, maybe some attack dive. What are you looking forward to seeing on this map?
I think what I'm not looking forward to seeing on this map is the side of the Bobcats. The speed with which they were confident on that Midtown pick. They got in the lobby and they immediately decided they were calling for Midtown, as it'll definitely be a bit scary to see whatever they have planned, as they are most definitely looking at something. They clearly have some type of comp ready. I'm going to be scared to see what they come out with, but Lindenwood, they took that first match, so I suppose they have a bit of a safety cushion if they aren't able to overcome whatever the Bobcats have cooked up. But I am slightly scared and slightly excited to see whatever that is.
I love the confidence. I am absolutely here for it. You immediately get out of the map and pick your next one. Like, this is what we're doing. That shows me they think they're going to win on it. That shows me they have absolute confidence in themselves. So, they were the Bobcats not able to pull it out in the first round, but the confidence we saw, maybe we'll see a round 3 in this tournament or in this matchup.
As yeah, it'll be a bit of an interesting one to see here on Midtown. What do you think we're gonna see? What do you think this cooked up roster is? Is it gonna be something surprisingly simple that they just think that they play well, so they are confident on the map pick, or do you think that they have something interesting prepped for us?
I think it is very interesting, and I think this is a composition Overwatch has never seen before. Are you ready for it? You could probably guess some of the characters I'm gonna say, right?
Go on, let's hear it.
We're gonna start off with the infamous horse, the Orisa. You never see that character. We're gonna go into the DPS line, which is going to be Sojourn, another amazing pick, right?
And then surely you'll want something. You'll probably want another, maybe an immobile character. You have a lot of movement on that Sojourn. You can get dipping and diving around, and so your second character, you're surely gonna want a really high DPS but immobile character, right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, yeah. What do you have in mind?
Well, it's your composition. I'm just trying to predict which path we're going down.
Yeah, so there you have the really immobile, no movement character in Tracer, right? She
Okay,
doesn't do a lot.
sure. Where are we looking with our first support?
On the same coin, really immobile, not doing a lot for the team, not ever picked. I mean, he doesn't have an almost 75% pick rate more than likely
Maybe
in
like a life
competitive
weaver.
Overwatch. No, no, it starts with an L for sure.
Yeah,
Definitely
I was thinking
Lucio.
life weaver. Oh,
Yeah, yeah. Oh, you know
seven
what? Yeah,
seven.
I
Wait,
like it.
what's a Lucio?
I know, we never see
uh,
that. That's crazy. And then who knows about the second support? It doesn't matter. I made my point already.
you don't think we're gonna see on a brig?
No, we were just informed Brig is in a really bad spot, so I don't think we're gonna see Brig. But maybe this team doesn't know that. Maybe this team thinks Brig is amazing and they're gonna keep running Brig. But
And yeah,
otherwise, it's gonna be
Uh,
Kiriko.
it'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see which paths all of these rosters end up going towards. As I'm still shook on the complete flip that came halfway through that Samoa set. Map one, the Bobcats were completely dominant. They looked really solid the first half of the second point as well, but GSR made one misclick. Lindenwood saw an inch. They took the mile. They hit a beautiful grab. I can't stop imagining that grab, playing that back as very, very solid play there from them. And then, I mean, the third round, they just played almost perfectly. I can't think of any real criticisms. Obviously, you can look back and go nitpick here or there, but that round, without replacing them with like the best five players in the world, that round was perfect from my point of view.
We have an interesting turn of events here, something we haven't seen since last semester was just said in the chat. It looks like we might be swapping one of our DPS players for the tank position and our tank for one of the DPS positions. I know these players have played these roles in competitive Overwatch before, but we haven't seen it in a long time.
We're gonna see something interesting here. I mean, one way or another, Lindenwood.
It's been a while. Don't know what this player is confident on in terms of tanks. And I just want to say really quick, apologies for audio issues. We should be good to go now. And as I was saying, these players being swapped, interesting. Interesting, very interesting to say the least.
We wait our final ready checks in the lobby chat to make sure we can get everything ready. Making sure. I know we've had some issues with, of course, light audio issues here. We've had some issues with people getting disconnected from their VCs earlier in the series. As making sure we can get the ready checks from everybody as we finally load ourselves into the lobby and we head over to the world of New York City's Midtown.
We're back. We're on Midtown, and as it turns out, we just don't know how to pay attention, and our DPS player and our tank will be remaining on their own roles for this game. It happens, but we are moving into. We're seeing a Ramatra from the Bobcats, and we're seeing that Widow too. I don't know if Lindenwood's going to be expecting a Widow to come out into them on this map, on this point of the map, but they have to see it at this point. They have to know, and they have to watch out, especially these supports. Finn going to be actually taken out right away by a railgun headshot from GSR. That's going to be a start for the Bobcats. They're going to make their way all the way around, and with no Sojourn on the board, either actually gonna even out the score there. Gonna keep one of the DPS down. Lindenwood can meet them on the point and win this fight here.
And yeah, Zippy's taking some super aggressive positionings with the Zarya I really like to see, but not gonna get the bubble. Okay, I was trying to say the Zarya being able to bubble up to keep that Reaper alive till Wraith forms off cooldown is a very nice combo, but it is worth noting Finn and the DPS now Tracer are gonna be back on the fight, but Ronan gonna get the kill alongside the rest of the team on Milky Way. The Ramattra goes down for the side of the Bobcats. GSR is gonna trade it on to the Moira. His Sojourn has been absolutely spectacular this series, aside from that second point there on Samoa, as GSR sliding back now. Again, he'll have his next railgun shot ready, trying to find a hunt. Zippy going to take a decent bit of damage, but Wraith form can always get him back to safety. Finn, though, in a bit of danger on this top side. Power slides back to the team, won't be in too much danger, as Ramatra going into his secondary form, re-pushing up, trying to find it, but Milky Way's down at 1 HP, is going to get the kill with the basic onto Lucio, as blocking up all this damage. Overclock comes out from GSR, trying to find a shot, can't get the kill though. It's Finn's railgun finding the Sojourn kill. Bob Ross behind Finn making a play, but Coalesce is going to keep them all topped up to full. Zippy Bloom going to get the kill onto Kiriko, trying to chase it on forward. Zippy going to get the kill onto Milky Way as well, as they don't need to hunt any further deep, but it will be the Reaper trying to find this kill on Bob Ross as well, but the Tracer always going to be able to get away in that situation, as Lindenwood, they still have a very good hold, as GSR taken down with a headshot on this GSR's dagger.
Bobcats really had a huge advantage taking out Finn so early on in that fight. They didn't really get the opportunity to push it, or they just didn't take the opportunity to push it. Lindenwood is, well, the ultimates are looking even. We had to see the coalescence come out from Ronan in the last fight. It just, they have to kind of drop back. They have to watch out for this Tracer. They're going to be walking into this Kitsune, but the grab is going to come down from Euchlorian. And the ult comes down from Zippy as well. The beat comes out from Justard. The Annihilation taking Zippy down, but I don't think it's going to matter in this situation. I think that Annihilation was a little bit, it just wasn't good enough, I guess. I think the timing was fine. I just don't think it did enough damage.
And yeah, it just isn't quite good enough. Milky Way could have tried to play it forward with the Lucio, but odds are they would have both bled out. Keep an eye on this next fight. We're nearing final fight area. We have a minute left in the match, and there's not an active fight at the moment, as we'll have a pretty close match here, as it's going to be eyes on the Finn overclock whenever he decides to pop it. 45 seconds left to go, as they have reached the firehouse. Now they're hiding out in this corner shack, as a Bob Frost pulse bomb available. Keep an eye out behind this fire truck for the Tracer, as Coalescence comes out for Ronan to keep everybody alive, as they have both support ults available. They still have that Lucio B. Bob Ross looking for a play, is going to get booped away though, can't quite find the pulse bomb onto that Lucio, trying to find a target, going to go on Finn. He is going to get the stick, but the Zarya bubble to keep him alive. Beautiful save by Euchlorian, as Ronan going to find the kill onto GSR with the orb, as Moyer trying to chase down with the rest of the team. Zarya fighting in the building. 13 seconds left. GSR just now spawning up. They want to try and take the fight before the Sojourn is back. Milky Way goes down. No tank, no Sojourn fighting into a Lucio B. Always going to be a nightmare. Just a Tad goes down. Mango Shark goes down. GSR is back. It's DPS and DPS versus the team. Overclock from GSR kills one, but the Death Blossom melee range is too much to handle, as Lindenwood close this first round out with 0% against them. They have to get a single tick. This series could be over in literally 90 seconds.
What the one thing that this team, that the Bobcats had, that they absolutely needed to hit was that pulse bomb, and they did hit that pulse bomb. But Euchlorian's bubble was too on point and kept Finn alive in those moments. They just needed a little bit of an advantage, and pulse bomb was all they had to make it happen. And it gets canceled out by a cooldown. That's just unfortunate for Bob Ross, but you know, this team can still hold this defense down. They had a strong showing on the last map. This defense is still doable. I mean, of course, it's just a tick, so it is going to be difficult, certainly an uphill battle, but Lindenwood looks like we're switching it up to the Orisa. We are back to our roots, back to the best character in the game. Orisa.
And yeah, Lindenwood, again, this could be the final round they play, as we'll see, win or lose. This could literally be the end of their seasons, as we will see this final potential composition, as again, there could literally be one more fight in the regular season, as even if they win this game, they are not guaranteed to make it into that second phase. as we are going to begin things in the Orisa Cassidy Tracer comp into this Ramatra, as Lindenwood are looking to siege forward. They're trying to find a way past this choke, as for the moment they are going to get held back. Some good damage coming out from GSR, but they are going to find a couple players. Actually, Finn going to get taken down quick by GSR, as the Sojourn still finding good shots even this late into the series, as not cooling down at any capacity. They will just wait for Finn.
Yeah, no reason to push it in without that tracer in your back on your back. These two characters getting very weak in GSR and Milky Way, but no reason to push it at this point. We are kind of walking in at this point now, though. Euclorian kind of making his way through, gonna kind of back up just a little bit. This team has the opportunity now to do what they need to do and kind of walk in right now. Gonna see a little bit of a touch from one of these players in the back line to try to pull the Bobcats pull their focus, pull them back to the point. We have Bob Ross on this Lucio and this Tracer kind of in the back.
Matrix
They're
comes
just
out
getting
now.
alive back here. The
Yeah,
Matrix
they have
is
Milky Way
connecting
stuck
down.
here. Milky Way stuck in the middle of nowhere. So much DPS. Zippy gonna find that kill with the flashbang, as now they're gonna make the play. Kitsune comes out from the side of Mango Shark. They're trying to find something, but with no tank, they have to commit these big abilities. Bob Ross gonna find the kill on one. They get the kill on Euclorian as well. The tank matter is evened out. Bob Ross, the game-saving play there with some DPS from that Kitsune, as on the back, the Tracer trying to rat out the objective tick. Only did need the one tick. Got about halfway there, but Linden would get held off.
Yeah, it looks like we're
Very good
switching
comp
it up,
swap.
going to that Zarya. Don't need the pulse bomb, giving that up. They have plenty of time to rebuild these ults and have the opportunity to cap this tick, so why not switch up the entire composition to work in your play style? We're getting started here. All they really have to watch for are these DPS ults and then this Lucio getting close as well. Lindenwood just needs to they just need to execute. That's what they really need to do. That the likelihood of winning this first fight might be slim, just because they're really running into ultimates with no answers. And the
Death
ult comes
Blossom
down from Bob Ross, but he gets
completely
taken
full.
out by Finn.
Yeah,
That is
Finn gonna get that kill, headshot on the railgun to shut down the Death Blossom. They have a little bit of a timer here if they want to fight in. They are going to be fighting into a sound barrier and an overclock, no matter what, though, as it will be Bob Ross swapping to the Tracer to get back at full speed. Lindenwood, they want to keep a player on the point at all times here. B comes out, overclock comes out. This is potentially the fight for it all. Sound barrier comes out from Ether, able to farm it up now, taking everything alive. Euclorian gonna get the kill on just a Tad's Lucio. Bob Ross holding down the point, but Zippy takes one, Euclorian another. No tank, no healers. GSR is down. Bob Ross is down, as Lindenwood will close out the fight, close out Midtown, close out the series, and close out the regular season with a 2-0 win here on Midtown.
What it was I'm speechless, Xander. What a game. They started off a little bit rough, I would have to say. We saw Bob Ross in this clip get a little bit more value here than maybe they wanted. But all in all, Linwood pulls out both. It was getting close to the point where on Samoa, where we thought maybe this would be a tougher battle for this team. They ended up pulling it out. Didn't have to worry for a second about it once they had their comfortable composition. Then we move into Midtown, able to full hold it, closing out the series, closing out this season. What a ride it's been, Xander.
And yeah, definitely some fun matches today, as 4-0 map differential for Lindenwood. Of course, hoping that they make it into that next phase, but at the end of all, it is going to simply be up to other matches around the league. You have to go run through all of the stats, see which teams need to lose for Lindenwood to pass them in the standings. As I suppose we'll spend our next time praying that those matches fall on the correct way. But regardless, what a day of games. Lindenwood don't end up dropping a map here on the gold side of things. As of course, we heard the black team took a 2-1 lead in their first series as well. Good matches for the Lions today overall.
Absolutely. And we are going to take a short break. When we return, you will be hearing from one of our oldest players on the team.
Hi, this is Alex Bloom. You probably know me as Zippy Bloom. I play for our Varsity esports Overwatch team, and I am the DPS player, along with Finn the Human. Today we're talking about Kale. I first met Kale when I signed up for the program about a year ago, when I was playing from home before actually coming to the school. I met him, didn't really talk to him much, because he was practicing with the main team and playing for them, which you've probably known if you've seen it. And then once I actually got to school, I met him in person, and he looked exactly how I imagined he would. He's a chill guy, doesn't complain much, and just a great dude. My favorite memory with him was probably like learning how to get dives off with him, because I play a lot of Sombra, so actually getting off a good dive with him is great. And he's really good at Orisa, and every single time he spears a frog, he says that he spears frogs. Probably my favorite thing that he has done is that he just says ultimates while we're playing. I don't know why, but it's really funny when he does. My few things to describe him: he's kind, he's probably the calmest out of all of us, he's collected, he knows what he wants to do, and he's a little quiet, but that's okay. I'm gonna be missing his groundedness. He usually is the person whose head is in the game, because we all tend to get a little bit crazy, but Kale's always kind of the rock pillar that we can rely on to come back to if we're just straying too far from the path. He's a good leader. And yeah, I'm gonna miss you, buddy. I'm gonna miss, doing all of our bits, and it's gonna leave me a little crazy. And you know what makes me crazy? Being in a room with Kale.
My name is Finn Brown. I'm one of the other DPS on the team, and I met Kale over the summer in one of our tryouts. I had just joined the team, just seeing what was going on, and he was really impressive to me. Like, he looked to me like an absolute god at the game. And while he's still really good at the game, it's kind of changed over time. So I no longer look up to him, but we're more equals now, and that's a really nice relationship to have. Although, after every match or scrimmage, there's a little bit of insanity, because he always goes and he immediately queues straight back into the game. It could be after 4 straight hours of practice. It's really rough on the mental, and he's just straight back into it. And, when he's gone, there's always the concern that his role can't be filled again. I still personally have that concern, even though we've got promising tryouts coming up, that nothing is going to be able to replace him properly. But here's to hoping. And Mr. Euchlorian, it's been an honor. Don't drown.
My name is Kirk Hendricks. I am the main support for the team. I am Ether in-game. When I first met Kale, I wasn't even technically a part of the Overwatch team yet. I had learned about the Overwatch team in new student orientation my freshman year. I messaged Cam, the coach, and then I walked down to the lab and I was already in a scrim, and so was Kale. And my first interaction with Kale was that he can play pretty much any role, and I thought that was really cool. My favorite memory that I have playing with Kale as our tank is that when we were doing dry runs and practicing our dive, I'm the main support, so I'm always sitting in the back watching things that are going on, not really having a big part in the actual attack. And every now and then, it would just feel off. People would come in late, people would come in early, and we were really confused why we just couldn't get it down. And then we realized we were counting different. Kale would always count 3, 2, 1, go, and land his dives on go. Well, everybody else was landing on 1. And so it's become a huge bit about landing on 1. And when we first discovered that, we all felt like we were crazy, and our dive play immediately got better. One of the best ways that I can describe Kale is that he is stable. everybody on the team is crazy. Everybody, and Kale is crazy in his own way because he hasn't gone insane from the rest of us. He is always there as kind of a even surface that he's able to pull us all back down whenever we're going on our own tangents. He just kind of looks over to us, and it looks like he's about to go insane, but he always reins us all in. And I love that about Kale. I'm really gonna miss him, but maybe the real Kale was just the friends and memories we made along the way.
Hello, I am Kellen Williams. I am the current team captain and flex support player for Lindenwood's Overwatch Gold. I first met Kale way before I was actually even considering coming to Lindenwood through one of my friends who's currently on the team, Finn. And I thought that he was way older than he was. I thought he was maybe like a third or fourth year student, just from how he carried himself. He was super mature, had a good head on his shoulders, and it was really shocking when I learned that he was actually one of the youngest on the team. My favorite memory with Kale is probably just the constant, like every single time that we're in practice and in scrims, we make sure that the other team knows that Euchlorian's name is Kale. And it's gotten to the point where there have been multiple times where we have been queuing into the competitive mode, which has thousands and thousands of players in it, and we will find somebody who goes, "Oh, Euchlorian? Oh, it's Kale!" And it just starts up a conversation mid-game. There's gonna be a lot missing from the team once he's gone, especially having another level-headed person on the team. He's kind of one of the people that helps stuff not get too out of hand when, crazy ideas are being thrown around. And it's gonna be a change when he's gone for sure. But best of luck to him. We'll miss him. Do great things.
My name is Cam. I am the student manager of the esports program here at Lindenwood, and I am also the current coach of Lindenwood University esports Overwatch team. I first met Kale when I came on as coach about 3 years ago. He had also just joined the team, and he was part of the first starting roster that I put together for the varsity team. He was a pretty quiet and reserved guy. He didn't really seem to stick himself out too much, but he did his job and he did his job well. And over the years, he's grown to be a good friend of mine. I think that one of the first times we ever actually hung out, since I'm from Maryland, one of the first times we ever hung out is when I flew over the first time, and we went and did mini golfing with Zane Al-Shekli and Seth, who was another member from back then. We just all went mini golfing at 10 or 11 at night, and they were about to close. But in freezing outside, it was November, no one was wanting to do mini golf. I don't know why they thought we were there, but we did mini golfing, and that was a lot of fun. The calming presence that he brings, I think, is going to be one of the things that we miss while he's not here. It's going to be really tough because he tended to be the person that, if you were a little bit on the outside, not necessarily part of a big clique on the team, Kale was friends with you. So I think that some newer people who will never know Kale are really going to be at a disadvantage. It's going to be difficult without him there for sure, and I'll happily have him back on to help teach some of the newer people anytime he wants to come around and give some advice or just watch a game, or if he wants to be included in a broadcast. I'm sure we can get him on to do casting in some form or another. But the program's definitely going to be worse without him here. So we're very much going to miss Kale. So good luck, but find a job. Good luck out there in the real world,
and you'll always have a place here to come back to practice some Overwatch.
Taken down by Euchlorian. The tracer is gone.
Welcome back to the stream. Hope you all enjoyed that video. Kale, congratulations on your death, buddy.
Thanks. I
and
had a good
your
run.
and your retirement, of course. But how did you feel about that video? Did you
That
enjoy it?
was really nice. I was not expecting anything like that. Uh, Man, it's been a great time here at Lindenwood, meeting all the guys. Gonna miss them.
Absolutely. So, when we're talking about your time here, I want to know just one phrase, one word to describe your time at Lindenwood since 2021.
It's been crazy. Best way I can put it.
Yeah, that would be a
Def-
good word.
Yeah, fair
Yeah.
enough for sure. I want to ask, coming out, of course, of that testamentary video, and coming out of that presumably probably the last match of the, I suppose, collegiate career, unless things fall in a way good enough to get you guys luckily in playoffs. Which again, we'll have to see if that ends up happening. But just walk us through the raw emotions of ending out at least the regular season.
I mean, it was hard to not think about it throughout the match that was gonna be probably my last one. But I mean, just playing that last game felt better than usual. I don't really have the words for it. It was a great time.
Ugh.
Absolutely. So, you have been here for years. We saw on your memorial video, you've been here since 2021.
Yeah.
How have things changed for you between your arrival to Lindenwood and now your retirement from the team?
Oh boy. Well, when I first joined, I was terrible, so that's a good start. I was not great at Overwatch. I have a lot of people to thank for helping me get better at that, especially Coach Cam. Um, but I mean, as you heard in the testamental video, I was a lot more reserved. I was a lot quieter, and I've really learned to like assert myself more as time has gone on.
Yeah, I do want to ask a bit more on. It's the one thing I cannot stop forgetting about from that last game. Walk us through the end of the second point on Samoa, where you stop them from getting that final
Oh,
fight. The fight, the VC. Give us the rundown of that moment with the grab on that tracer.
we knew they were going to get the touch. We knew that they were coming back strong, and we knew that they had ults. And I just saw the tracer on the side, and I forget what the comm was, but someone said, "Okay, we're gonna open this with one of my ultimates," and I said, "I'll grab the tracer," and then I did.
There was no need for the rest of the plan. Doesn't matter. She's not
Yeah,
touching. No overtime. So, everybody in those testimonials got to talk about their favorite memories with you, but I want to know your favorite memory watch. And it does not have to be from this year. It can be
yeah.
from 2 years ago or last year or this year, whatever you want.
I hate to piggyback off of what another one of them said, but finding out that I was counting wrong for 2 whole years just really hurt.
It
I
hurt? That's your favorite?
it hurt in a good way. It was really funny. Uh, it was a good time.
And yeah, just tell us a bit about, just in that same vein of favorite memories, favorite growth. How would you describe your growth from back then to now?
I mean, yeah, like I said, I've grown better as a player. I've grown more assertive as like a leader in game, and yeah, yeah. Sorry, it's kind of hard for me to after watching that video. That was really nice.
Glad to hear it. Well, I don't think we have any more questions for you about the video other than or about your career. This is the end. This is the retirement from collegiate Overwatch. Do you think
Yeah,
you'll try to go on any further, or do you think college is where it stops?
I I'm fr- I don't think I can just stop where I am right now. I'm gonna reach out to some teams, see if they've got spots open, but I can't really compete collegiate anymore. If I'm dying.
True. They don't let that people play. I'm sorry. But other teams do for some reason.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. Well, anything else to add today, Kale?
I don't think so. Yeah.
All right. Well, we appreciate having you today. I just want to say I filmed the testimonial as well, and it did not make it, but I
I
I think
appreciate
there's a
it.
longer video out there with a couple more people, that have things they wanna say to you. But I'll just say something now while it's live and on stream, and because I wrote it down, I don't wanna not say it. So, I met you a few years ago on this same team, and God, we were awful. This was the worst team, I swear, like, we were all, like, plat, we were bad, we were not good at this game. But look how far you guys have come. Obviously, I'm not a player anymore, but you guys have come so far from where you started on this team. And you personally, I've watched you grow from a 17-year-old freshman gold player to the person and player you are right now. And as a former team captain, I just have to tell you how unbelievably proud I am to see your progress in real time.
Thank you.
It's gonna be really weird to not have you as a permanent, member of the program anymore, but you'll be around. I know you're good friends with everybody, so I'm sure they'll have you back for coaching or
Sure, I'll find a way.
being being whoever you are. Yeah, just, being Euchlorian. Best of luck to you in the future, buddy.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, heading out of this game, this interview, this series, this day, this season, this year, I suppose, everything all wrapping up at once, unless, again, miraculous turn of events happen in the league, allowing us to qualify into the playoffs phase. But anything else you want to throw on in presumably and potentially our final stream of the season, Amanda?
This I think has been the most successful season this team and both teams, the whole program has seen over the 4 or 5 years it's existed, and I am so happy to have been a part of it, and I'm proud to have been a part of it, and I can only imagine how much the future is gonna go up from here.
And yeah, with that, again, thank you everybody for joining us for this amazing day of Overwatch, this season of Overwatch, this everything of all of our competitions here at the Lindenwood Esports channel. As of course, keep an eye out on the Twitter. We'll make an announcement there if we do happen to make a way into playoffs. But on the off chance that we do not, thank you all again very much for joining us for not only today, but all of our streams this season. And if you don't have anything else, Amanda, I think that'll about wrap it up for us.
It is all wrapped up, nothing else from me.
Alrighty, well, thank you all again for joining us. Hope to see you either back when we're before playoffs, if that does happen to happen. If not, thank you all for watching. Hope to see you whenever we are back next year, next season, with our next Overwatch or whatever matches it ends up being. Thank you again all for joining us. Hope to see you then.